how lots of our core systems work, like movement and attacking and IK and things like that, in order to make our gameplay work well for these big bosses. And we've been doing lots and lots of obviously internal playtests built around kind of fighting these guys and interacting with them on a server, both obviously at ideal performance setups and not ideal performance setups to make sure that everybody can get the best experience possible. But what's really cool about it is you'll see that these guys are flying around with tech suits and using tech rifles. And we wanted, one of the things with Extinction, like a big focus is on tech gameplay. And so we wanted to kind of bring a new coat of skin to a lot of the tools that you guys are used to already. And so this becomes a key part of kind of dealing with these Titans and fighting them. So you'll see here that Zane is focusing on a node that's on the ankle of the Titan. And that's actually the primary mechanic behind taming these guys. So essentially, corruption has overtaken these Titans, and they're kind of evolved naturally in this habitat, but then corruption has somehow come involved and started to corrupt them. And so now they are actually they're now angry and working under the control of the corruption, and they're not happy about it, and that's why they're your enemy. And so to tame them, what you do is focus on these points of corruption that are on their body and try to take them out. So as I said before, there are really two potential outcomes for this fight. You can attack the corrupted nodes and take them out in sequence in order to tame the Titan, or you can just do straight up damage to the Titan and kill it. And it's really kind of up to you. If you want to do it for the loot run, then you'll focus on doing damage to the Titan and take it down. If you want to have one tamed, you're going to go. Your objective will be to go for the nodes. And then obviously, since this is happening all in the open world, anybody can show up at any time and kind of mess with your plans. And that's something like I've kind of underscored a little bit, but it's been really important to us to kind of bring some of that real Ark bread and butter to these kind of bigger mechanics. You saw it with the orbital supply drop gameplay earlier, and you're seeing it with the Titan here. And so, yeah, this is essentially the boss fight. And so for this guy, you'll notice, again, another difference from some of our other boss fights. There are no minions for this fight. It's mainly him focusing damage on you. He does choose targets. You can use various tools in your toolbox in order to get him to focus on you. And then, we've also kind of tested it a lot against some of the traditional ways of fighting bosses. So you can see Zane spawning a bunch of Rexes here. And one thing we wanted with these Titans was to really change it up. And those Rexes are gone now. And so, we want...
They just got demolished.
Yeah, exactly. We want to bring some fresh gameplay. So, a number of us... Yeah, that one really got demolished. So a number of us come from different different games and different genres in our backgrounds of development, and we wanted to kind of bring something new to the boss fights rather than just Rex spam. And so even if you're here to kill it, Rexes aren't the best way to go. And so it's going to kind of change up the meta and drive people to kind of come up with new ways. But so normally, as I said, the flow here would be to go through and take all these nodes out and progress through the fight. But let's go ahead and skip ahead and just force tame it, and then we'll show off a little bit of the tamed gameplay.
What kind of difficulty was this Titan?
So the sub-Titans, of which there are 3, and this is one of them, they actually only have 1 difficulty. However, the way that we still wanted to have the kind of alpha, the gamma, beta, alpha gameplay, and the way we decided to do that was, I talked a little bit earlier about the fact that you can damage the Titan during the fight in addition to taming it. So what happens when you tame the Titan is the amount of damage that you've done to it actually translate over to how powerful the Titan is post-tame. And so, if you're a little less, there's a little less finesse in your battle against the Titan, then you're going to come out with a little less strong Titan. It's going to have lower health. Maybe it's a little less strong. And I think that will give these guys kind of a little bit of a top end and a little bit more of a challenge to getting the best one.
Very dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can see Zane, the Titans are, they're as powerful as you would expect. So these guys cut through foliage and forests and dinos like they're butter. And so when he jumps and slams, he can take out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 dinos at once. It's really something that that we've built it to be to give the players that feeling of immense power when they conquer one of these titans and tame them. And each one of them actually has a completely different skill set. And we've kind of treated them kind of like almost like classes to a sense. So like the Ice Titan, you'll see the jump that Zane can do when he jumps around. This guy's the more agile of the Titans. So he obviously he's immensely big and slow moving when he walks, but he can pounce across and kill 20 dinos at once. And his QA friends are giving him lots of things. So we wanted it to be really fun both in PvE, and we really wanted these guys to change up PvP. So when one of these guys is tamed and brought into a PvP session, it's going to change things up. That traditional strength of the camera just moved. The traditional strength of base defense and the slow moving grind of breaking into a base. We want these guys to kind of turn that on its head a little bit and give somebody a tool to kind of break through to the other side and change up the fight. That said, we've got some other stuff that we're not ready to talk about just yet, that we're kind of saving for a surprise, that is built specifically to counter the Titans.
Because you want to introduce something that's incredibly overpowered with no counterplay to it.
Exactly. Yeah, and that I think, as exciting as it is to build these Titans and work on them and play with them, I mean, to have this level of power, I honestly think their counter is as much fun, if not more fun.
Oh yeah,
so.
I would definitely agree.
Cool.
Well, he also has the cool thing on his back.
Oh yeah. So the thing about each of these Titans is that when you tame them, we kind of went back and forth about whether to have you construct a saddle for them or how that gameplay would work. And we decided semi-early on that since it's a big investment to tame these guys, and they're not permanent tames in PvP and PvE, that we wanted to kind of give you an extra little reward for that. And so they come equipped after taming with one of these platform saddles, and it's built on its back, and each of them is in a different spot. And with kind of the different gameplay that each of the Titans is suited towards, it kind of lends itself to a different type of set of structures that you might build on its back. And the other thing that's really interesting about this for PvP is that, I said that this thing can wreck dinos and can do a bunch of damage and stuff. But if you actually hop into first person real fast, Zane, so the pilot is actually just right on the front of the Titan, right above its head in this little carriage. And the Titan, the pilot is actually very vulnerable. And so what can happen is mid-fight, if somebody's able to snipe the pilot out of the Titan, then, if they've set the Titan to passive, then of course it's dead in the water, just standing there. Or if they've set it to aggressive, who knows, like it's going to have a mind of its own and go crazy. And so we actually have been playing with I think I would build a little bunker on the back and bring a secondary pilot so that if the primary one gets taken out, we'll swap another one in.
That's a pretty good strat.
Yeah.
Have we talked at all about, is there temporary tames?
Yeah.
Do we have a time period, or is that to remain a mystery for now?
Yeah, so we've been playing with it, and we're still in the final testing and tuning phase, and it is likely to change, post-launch. I mean, we're